Hello, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some big updates on The Matrix 4. Now, there's a few pieces of news that I've accumulated across probably the period of about 5 to 6 days. So it's various interviews that have been happening from various different people, and we're just going to lump it all into one big update video, because otherwise they'd just be like minute-long updates and you just get them few and far between. So it's better to round it all up, because actually each update is giving us a broader picture of the movie at hand, and some of them are really interesting. So this one is the latest, right? And this was done was on the 17th, and Matrix Keanu Reeves has confirmed that we're not going into the past, right? No past, nothing like that is happening, which is interesting, because when the Matrix 4 or a Matrix reboot was starting to do the rounds and rumours and things like that, it was under Project Ice Cream, and a lot of people thought it would have Michael B. Jordan in the role as a young Morpheus, and we were going to be doing a prequel movie. Then we started to hear, no, we're getting Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss. All these people were starting to come back. We even had Agent Smith, the actor for Agent Smith, named Hugo Weaving. He was rumoured to be coming back as well. He was in talks. Obviously that fell apart, and there was strong ties to potentially that happening, but now definitely confirmed going to be in the future. But the thing about the Matrix is, well, because it's the Matrix, of course we could explore the past. Of course we can. It could just all be a simulation. But the Matrix star Keanu Reeves has come out now and said nope. There is no going back into the past. So that could mean very specifically, no, we're not going to see the past at all in this movie. I'm sure there'll probably be a flashback, but we're not going into the past in this film at all. So this was on an interview he was doing with respect to, or apparently it was on the BBC The One show, and I'd imagine it was to promote the new Bill and Ted movie, which is only just released in the UK, hence why I haven't done a review. But he says, we're out here trying to make some magic. We have a wonderful director, Lana Wachowski, and she has written a beautiful script that is a love story. Now, that's interesting, because we heard that one of the cast was going to be a new Neo-type character. So that's interesting. But we also know that Keanu Reeves' Neo is back, and Carrie-Anne Moss's Trinity is back. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that maybe, I don't know, love brings them back. I don't know. I never saw The Matrix as a love story anyway, so it is interesting that they're saying, well, it's a love story. Quite a surprise. Now, he goes on to say that, it's inspiring, it's another version of a kind of call to wake up, which is obviously, now this is where I do actually start to get a little bit concerned, because of Lana and Lily Wachowski's sort of internet rants that they've been going on recently. Now, the first one, red pill, blue pill, we know what the first one's about, right? We all have that sort of opinion of it, the zeitgeist, what it's sort of become in pop culture and things like that. And retroactively, it's been called, like a trans allegory and things like this. No issue with that specifically at all. But my main concern is, because of this retroactive and sort of social politics agenda, if we're now getting another version of a story that is a call to wake up, I bet you anything it's going to be flipped on its head and will probably be anti everything the first one was sort of pro, or so on and so forth. So we'll see. But he continues and says it entertains, it has some great action, all will be revealed. And then obviously someone said, hey, well, is it going into the past? And he said, no, there'll be no going back into the past. So there you go. Interesting. Which, again, as this article points out, is it seems, to confirm, I guess, that Abdul Mateen isn't going to be playing a young Morpheus. But who knows? I still think he probably will be. But we'll see. Maybe they're all just lying, hey? Who knows? Now, there is this. This is an interesting piece of news. Neil Patrick Harris has come out and revealed some interesting sort of snippets of info. Not an awful lot, at all, not an awful lot. But basically, discussing writer-director Lana Wachowski, Harris, who plays an unknown small part in the film, apparently he is going to be playing a small part, basically came out and said that I think she has a great inclusive energy and her style has shifted visually from what she had done to what she is currently doing. Interesting. Does that mean that they're not doing the sort of Matrix style as before? I mean, we've seen it though. So I struggle to believe this. I think she has a great inclusive energy and her style has shifted visually from what she had done to what she is currently doing. But all the set photos reveal exactly the same stuff. Unless, of course, there's going to be a difference in how it's edited together. But visually, what we've seen on set, again, all similar outfits, similar clothing, wire work, which he does actually state here, stunts, it all looks reminiscent, it all looks the same. But I think some of this stuff will be changed in the edit bay. Maybe color grading will be different. I mean, The Matrix had a very, very unique color grade. I mean, you only have to look at this picture here. It is quite a unique, lots of greens and hues and things like that. So maybe it's going to be a color grading thing. But because I struggle to see, you know, what else has apparently shifted visually from what she had previously done to what she's now currently doing, because it all looks the same. But anyway, he did not go into great detail about what that shift entails, but he did mention The Matrix 4 will be ambitious and feature wire work. So he says, I've always wanted to be a lead in a big giant action movie with wires and stuff. And this is not bad for me, but it's certainly tangential and fun for me to be able to play in the sandbox a little bit. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Because yeah, apparently he's playing an unknown small part, but he does say, I've always wanted to be a lead. He doesn't say specifically that he's not, or that he is even in a small part. So it's quite surprising, really. I mean, look, ultimately, I still think he's going to be playing an agent. I think that works. I think him playing an agent works. I'd actually quite like to see him play an agent. Shame that Agent Smith isn't coming back, but we'll see. So there you go. The only other piece of news that I did find was a similar part, you know, about the sort of beautiful story moment, which is just a further reveal. He says, and I am really grateful to be here and be a part of this story, which is obviously to do with the Matrix 4 as a script. And then, you know, it's created a beautiful story and a beautiful script, which is interesting because, again, when we go back to the fact that it's a love story now, and, you know, all these sort of other elements that have been thrown in there, it is interesting to note these kind of words that are being used. You've got Neil Patrick Harris saying big action movie, wire work, and then you've got Keanu Reeves going, it's a love story. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful script. They're quite polar opposites, really. So I'm really intrigued to see how this develops and how this sort of plods along. I really can't wait for this, mainly just because, I mean, look, the first one was great. The other two were, you know, a bit balls. And what the Wachowskis have done since then have been middling at best. I'm not a massive fan of what they've done post The Matrix. Some stuff is okay, some stuff is absolute garbage. So they really don't have a big track record, in fact. And it'll be absolutely fascinating to see whether this does particularly well. And if it is garbage and it doesn't do very well, I cannot wait to see the accusations that come out of bigotry and phobias and things like that, because you know it's coming and it'll be very, very funny. But there you go. What do you guys think? What do you guys think to the love story elements? Did you think that the first one, well, the original trilogy was a love story at heart? I didn't. I didn't get that. There is a love story in there, but that's not its core narrative as far as I could tell. Maybe I'm wrong. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please do let me know down below. Who do you think Neil Patrick Harris is playing? And what do you think about this visual style? Again, let me know. I know that they have changed their visual style across the work that they've done, but you'd think that they would look to retain some form of familiarity whilst diving back into a franchise that they created. But anyway, let me know down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Mr. H. Take care.